Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are interviewing Paige Splendido, a student athlete at SUNY Oneonta. She is on the women's swim and dive team, and she will be speaking to us today about how it is being a student athlete and being a senior, and how diving is going for her. Hello, I'm Paige, and I'm on the women's swim and dive team, and I'm a art and design major who has a concentration in photography, and this is my last year as a diver on the team. Now that we have a start, I would like to start off speaking about how did you get into diving in the first place? What inspired me to get into diving is that basically the summer going into 10th grade, back in high school, I got an email from the swimming and diving coach for varsity saying that this year they will be doing cuts for the first time ever, no matter if you're a senior or an 8th grader. Typically, the cuts are just for 8th graders, and everyone that's on the team beforehand or in high school are fine, but this year they got too many applicants. And basically, what happened was something switched in my brain. I realized I was not going to remake the team because beforehand, before I started diving, I was actually a swimmer for 7 years. I was not the fastest, to be honest, at all. So this is why it's kind of hard to talk about. Basically, I realized I was going to be cut. And all of my friends at the time were part of this team, and I did not want to be cut from this team. So with 3 weeks left to spare, I started doing diving lessons, and I got 5 dives that week, those over the course of those 3 weeks. And basically, yeah, I got on the team as a diver because all the divers from the year before basically graduated except for one, so I knew they were in need of divers, and that's how I ended up here today. Wow, that's really incredible. I haven't heard a lot of swimmers going to diving before, and that's such of a switch. How was it when you first started to dive? Was there any struggles? Oh boy. When I first started to learn how to dive, it was a bit of a challenge, to be honest. It was very much a new type of thing for me. Growing up, I did many different sports. I've done around 8 to 9 sports, each for like a year or 6 years each. And basically, I know how to be accustomed to different sports, but this one, different, much different than any others that I've done in the past. This one takes confidence and courage. Sometimes you just don't have it, and it takes a lot of core strength, and you kind of end up flopping around sometimes. But back in high school, it was kind of difficult, but with everyone's courage that they gave me and strength, I was able to get through it eventually. How did the transition from college to high school diving challenge you the most? There were some challenges from transitioning from high school diving to college diving. One of the big ones was that basically there was a whole new board, a 3-meter board. Back in high school, you would only compete on 1 meter, and that's the low board for people that don't know. And it was so much easier and less scary. But once you get to college, you are expected to be able to compete 6 dives on 3 meter at least, and then eventually 11 dives. But my freshman year, I had some roommate issues that reflected really badly on me. And basically, it ended up on my mentality of the sport, and I wasn't able to compete 3-meter for the rest of that season because I would relate the things going on in my student life to 3-meter because I was getting nervous about 3-meter and smacking, and I would develop like mini panic attacks on 3-meter. So me and my coach just decided that for now, let's just stop with 3-meter and pick it up during my sophomore year once again. Now for something fun. What is your best dives and your scariest dives? My best dive, I would have to say that is either a 101A on 1 meter or a 103C on 1 meter. And then on 3-meter, it would be a 101B, which is a front dive pike on 3-meter. My scariest dive, wow, that has to be my back 1.5 on 3-meter. Oh, that thing gives me nightmares.
Same thing, scratch the feet.
Okay, so now for the next question. What is your typical day-to-day routine when you're in season as a student athlete? My typical routine as a student athlete, specifically diving, is, here's an example. In the morning at 6:45 a.m. I would get to the gym and work out until 7:45 as a morning lift. And then I would go back home, shower, get ready for school, go to class, and then go and either go back home after class or go to the library and do some work. And then I would go back home, whether or not it was time to go back home or if I had another class. And then either after class or after I'm at home, I have practice every night from 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. And then I don't eat dinner until at least 9 p.m. every night. And then it's just wake up and do it all again. And this is from October until February. How do you manage your time between school and diving? The way I manage my time between school and diving is that basically you need to keep a notebook or a schedule of some type somewhere. I keep mine on Notion because I can just check things off easily and see when stuff is due. But basically you want to keep a schedule of some type so that you know when you're busy, what you're doing, and how you're doing them in a way so that you can have better time management. What has been the hardest part about being a student athlete, specifically a diver, as your time in college? The hardest part actually about balancing your school life, your personal life, and your athletic life as whatever sport you're a part of in general is actually, funny enough, your time management. Because sometimes you just don't have enough time to do everything you want to do. Between practice, lift, classes, homework, going out, sometimes you just have to sit yourself down and tell yourself it's gonna be okay eventually, but like you have to start doing these things. Sometimes you'll miss out on certain activities you might have wanted to go to, but you need to get these good grades. And you need to focus on what's really important. Yes, sometimes go out and have fun, but make sure you get your schoolwork done first. And make sure it's not implicating your student athlete life. Do you see yourself staying within the sport after you graduate or not? Yes, actually, I do see myself continuing diving after I graduate, but not so much in a sense where I'm actually diving myself, more so with helping of being a coach. My high school is currently looking for a diving coach, and my parents have talked with the coaches, and possibly I will be able to be the diving coach for them. This past year, boys varsity and girls varsity, they never ended up having a diving coach, and it kind of reflected on how they did. So I really want to be able to help them. And plus, I know most of them too. Now we're getting down to the last few questions. Do you have any freshman year advice for yourself that other student athletes could take away, or diving specific athletes? The freshman year advice that I would give to myself is basically just get through it. Everything will be okay eventually, and you'll be able to get through it, and it's not the end of the world what happens. Just keep being yourself, have confidence in yourself, go after the dives that you want to do, and have some fun. I know that things may get tough, but everything eventually is going to work itself out. Right up on our last question, just wanted to ask, are you glad that you dove in college? I am very happy I did it. Without diving, I honestly don't know where I would be. It's where I made all my friends. I've built up so much more confidence in myself, leadership skills I can use in the future. It just has helped me overall, and I don't know where I would be without it. Thank you, Paige, for talking with us today. It's been great having you here with us. You can see her last time diving ever as a collegiate athlete, and just in general, at her championships, February 19th through the 22nd at ECC in Buffalo, and we wish you good luck.